assessment, and this assessment was done back in 2009, and I'll talk a little bit about the assessment in my presentation or in my notes here. But take a look at this, because I think this will really give you some idea of what the South Side wants. And on the back here, we have identified some goals, some things that we wanted to accomplish in 5 years. And some of these we can mark off, and some of these are still in the plan, and we're still working on them. So I've got them up under the chair that I was sitting in. I'll make sure that I take them up top so that you can grab them. The South Side neighborhood, well, first of all, let me just go back and say I don't live in the South Side, not now, but 21 years ago, Rich Payne hired me as the coordinator for apartment and family housing, and I live in the apartment that's right when you turn off of San Francisco and you're coming onto campus right there by Sechrest, between Sechrest and Raleigh. If you kept going, you'd run straight into my apartment. And so my son and I lived there for about 4 years, and so we lived in the South Side during that time. I presently attend a church that's in the South Side, but I don't live there at this point. But I do serve as their board president. The South Side neighborhood, bound by Longtree to the east, Milton on the west, the railroad tracks to the north, and McConnell, or depending on who you talk to, another street to the south, was originally established as a segregated neighborhood and was primarily occupied by a culturally and ethnically diverse population of Native Americans, Basque sheep herders, Hispanic Latinos, African Americans. The neighborhood today is still occupied by these populations, excluding the Basque sheep herders. Over the years, a number of whites, as well as NAU faculty, staff, and students have moved into the community. The South Side neighborhood also serves as home to 4 historically black churches. And this is significant because these churches have been in that neighborhood since their existence. Those churches include First Missionary Baptist Church, who just celebrated 100-year anniversary last year, Spring Hill Baptist Church, Riverside Church of God in Christ, and Harbor Chapel Methodist Episcopal Church. And while a lot of the residents or the members of those churches have moved out of the neighborhood, they continue to come back into the neighborhood. They have family there, they have friends there, their churches are there, and they worship in that community. The residents hold a strong sense of home and community and are proud of the cultural diversity. Southside is one of the oldest continuously occupied neighborhoods in the city of Flagstaff. The neighborhood is home to approximately 3,500 ethnically diverse residents. Kinsey Elementary School is located near the south border of the neighborhood and has a large ethnically diverse student population. Over 50% or more of the students who attend that school qualify for a free or reduced lunch program. Today, historical perceptions and stereotypes remain. Southside is still considered the poor part of town. Statistics provided by the City of Flagstaff's Planning Division estimates that the Southside median income per resident is approximately 40% of the city's overall area median income at about $18,000 versus the City of Flagstaff at $39,500, thus making Southside one of Flagstaff's poor neighborhoods. Northern Arizona University sits in the middle of the South Side, and I remind students about that all the time, that they live in a neighborhood, they go to school in a neighborhood, and so I want them to be part of this neighborhood. This is both an asset and a challenge. The university brings valuable resources, jobs, businesses to the community, but like many low-income neighborhoods that are homes to universities, we have faced a range of challenges over the years in creating relationships that meet the needs of long-term residents, university students, staff, and faculty alike. 20-some years ago, I lived in a community very similar to Southside back in Wisconsin. The university sat right in the middle of the neighborhood. I could literally walk out of my front door and I could see my office. That's how close we were. My son attended a school that was right across the street. So on my way to work in the morning, I'd drop him off at school, and I'd continue a half a block on the other side of the building, and I would go to work. And so that neighborhood was in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And it was a great neighborhood to live in, to raise kids in. We had the benefits of the university and all of their resources. And so I see Flagstaff, Northern Arizona University, and the South Side in that same light. And that was one of the things that brought me to the Neighborhood Association, because I wanted to be a part of what I had left in Wisconsin that was so valuable to me and my son. Let me just find my place here. As I said, the university brings valuable resources, jobs, and businesses to the community. But like many low-income neighborhoods that are homes to universities, we have faced a range of challenges over the years in creating relationships that meet the needs of long-term residents, university students, faculty, and staff alike. Several years ago, the Southside Community Association applied to the Arizona Community Foundation, and at the same time, the Civic Service Institute was also applying to that same organization. And that organization, in reviewing the two proposals, the foundation requested that our two groups would work together to form the Communities for All Ages projects. In creating the Communities for All Ages team, which included both local residents and members of the university, we hope to begin a process of creating real and meaningful dialogue and action across our differences, and hopefully generating useful lessons for other community coalitions, bringing together both university members and longtime residents. The Southside Community for All Ages was a partnership between the residents of all ages, the local organizations, the Southside Community Association, and NAU Civic Service Institute. And later we included the Ethnic Studies program to come on as a partner. After an extensive community assessment, and that's this assessment that you can have, the team building process, the group development, a vision for making the South Side whole through improving the relationship between the community and the university, promoting the value of the South Side's historical and cultural contributions to Flagstaff, and creating intergenerational gathering spaces within the community. To date, we have been involved with a range of exciting partnerships, initiatives, and cultural events that have helped us contribute to this vision. The Murdoch Community Center serves as a focal point for the neighborhood development. The opportunities at the Murdoch Community Center have helped build leadership and encourage community involvement amongst residents of different ages. There are a wide range of opportunities for all ages to gain knowledge and skills to persist and thrive in the neighborhood's rapidly changing economic environment. While the funding for the Communities for All Ages program has ended, the work of making Southside Neighborhood a community for all ages continues. We just recently entered into a partnership with Northern Arizona University where we are using, meaning the Southside Community Association and Murdoch Center, we're using their federal work-study dollars. And we have hired 4 students who work at the Murdoch Community Center. And those students, part of what they do on Saturdays, because they wanted Saturday hours, is that they go throughout the neighborhood and they give out information about whatever's happening in the area, in the community. Just recently, I talked to one of the students who's working at the center, and she was so excited. She told me that on her Saturday trip, she had an opportunity to talk with Mrs. Garcia. Now, Mrs. Garcia has lived in the neighborhood for longer, probably as long as I've been alive, if not longer, and have raised her children there. And Mrs. Garcia was so impressed and so happy to see her, and she said, Miss Deb, I think I spent more time than I should have talking to her. But she said she didn't want to stop talking. and she enjoyed having that interaction with that young adult. And she made sure that she told her to come back next Saturday when you work. And so those are the kinds of partnerships that we want to have with the university. And we know that there are challenges, but there are also a lot of opportunities. And we are trying to meet those challenges as best as we can. And as I said earlier, it's a great place to live, and people should want to live in that community. And we want to teach students how to live in communities. We don't want them to go away. We need them. We need their enthusiasm. We need their energy. We need their creativity. We need them to be a part of a community. And if we don't teach them how to live in communities during this part of their education and this part of their lives, who will teach them to do that? And so I see that as an educator as part of my responsibility, even though I'm the board member for the South Side. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I have to follow these two.